In this video, let's talk about how to not only expect, but embrace the unexpected. The fact is, reality rarely unfolds in the way that we want, or in the logical way that we might think it should. But if you learn to embrace the unknown, rather than fear it or try to control it, you actually open up to just more possibilities and synchronicities and amazing things happening in your life. And before we get started, if you're on this journey of spiritual growth and manifestation, then be sure to sign up for my newsletter below. And if you sign up right now, you'll get one of my free popular meditations. So with that, let's get started. So the fact is, manifestation does not follow a script. We all want certainty, we visualize the outcome, we have the perfect scene in our head of what we want, and we can even logically plan out the steps. But life in general just does not follow our logic. It follows our state of being. That means that the path to what you desire is most likely not going to be a linear one. And I recently did a video on this concept, and I'll link to it here, called The Bridge of Incidents, which is something from Neville Goddard. And he talks about how the path to go from where we are right now to our desired reality, we have to follow this bridge of incidents. So we just have to focus on the state of having what we want, and the universe will guide us through this bridge of incidents. Could be crazy or unexpected things happening, but we will ultimately end up at the destination that we want. This means that the path to your desire will most likely look wildly different than anything you could have imagined. Again, part of this is that very often what we view as a setback or as a terrible thing, actually, when we look back on it, ends up being the one thing that we needed to have success and move forward. So again, Neville Goddard had this term called the bridge of incidents. And once you assume that feeling of the wish fulfilled, life begins to reorganize and bring you through this path of, this bridge of various incidents occurring, often in ways you never could have predicted. But ultimately, you will arrive at the destination that you want. So this is why so many people get stuck. They try to micromanage the 3D reality. They try to micromanage the how. They say, well, if this is going to happen, I want it to happen my way, through this specific series of outcomes and things happening in my life by a certain time. But when you lock into just one specific narrow outcome that way, you cut off really like this amazing intelligence of the universe. I've had so many moments in my life where I wanted to arrive at a certain destination, and yet the universe took me, threw me some curveballs. And ultimately, when I did get to that destination and I looked back, I saw the beauty in it. I saw how the universe, with its infinite knowledge, brought me through a pathway that, yes, maybe triggered me, yes, was maybe very difficult, but it helped me become the person that I needed to be to arrive at that final destination. Trying to control how the desire shows up, it's really a silly thing to do, because it's much easier, actually. It's much more simple to just focus on that state of, the wish being fulfilled, living in the end. Because the beauty of it is, it's actually pretty easy for us once we learn to go with that flow. It doesn't mean that difficulties won't come up, but we always have the strength to deal with them and overcome them. But our lives are actually a lot easier when we just focus on that state of living in the end, and then, trust our intuition and the universe and that guidance to work through any obstacles or things that come our way. So when we live in this way and we expect the unexpected and we're open to it, it does a few things. First, it's not about, just pure chaos in our life and feeling like we have no control. It's about being more open and asking the question, how is this happening for my benefit? No matter what challenge or, what good thing or bad thing, whatever is happening, learning to ask ourselves, how is this happening for my benefit? How is this happening to help me get to where I want to go? And when we choose to live in this way, number one, it removes that resistance. Your energy becomes different. You're lighter, more magnetic. You stop focusing on the only way that something can happen, and you start allowing and going with the flow. And then second, it actually will speed up your manifestation because the universe can now bring you through different pathways. And maybe those are going to be much faster than the one that you envisioned. Because when we learn to allow the unexpected and be open to it, you give that openness and permission to the universe. You give it the space that it needs. And I guarantee you have at least one instance in your life where what you initially thought was a huge setback or difficulty, later on, when you look back in hindsight, it was one of the best things that ever happened to you. So now let's talk about some mindset shifts that you can focus on if you don't tend to be so open to this kind of, reality of, being open to different things happening in your life. First thing I'll mention is just drop the timeline. Stop obsessing over when something will happen and just shift to, it's all working out in my favor, even when I can't see it or maybe understand it, and be so focused on feeling the emotions of living in that end state right now that you don't even care whether what you want ever shows up in the 3D, because you already have it so deeply and so intensely and so emotionally right now that the 3D doesn't matter. So that's true manifestation. The second thing is just celebrate some of those surprises. Start viewing surprises and unexpected things as evidence that reality is rearranging. Now, it might not be a good surprise. It might not be something that you want, but things are changing, things are moving, and ask yourself, what if this is part of the plan? Maybe I don't understand it, but how could this maybe be helping me? Is this bringing out maybe a part of me that I need to work on more? Is it triggering something within me and showing me a place where, I have to do some work before I'm ready to get to the next level? Start asking yourself, when these surprises or unexpected things happen, how is this part of the plan? And the third thing, and this is similar to the second point, but it's another question you can ask, and that is, how is this happening for me? So whatever is going on in the 3D, in the physical world, ask yourself, okay, this situation, or this difficult person that I have to deal with, or this stress at my job, whatever it is, ask yourself, how is this happening for me? How is this reality, even though I don't want it? Like, I want to get out of this situation, and I'm making progress, but how do I view this through that lens of how is this happening for me? Is this negativity here because it's showing me that I want something different, and so it's pushing me and motivating me to get a different job? Is it something where in a relationship that there's something that triggers you deep down and it's really helping you see where you maybe have to do some inner work and shadow work? Start asking yourself this question of, how is this situation happening for me? How is the universe helping me through this to grow and become a better version of myself? Because there's always an answer there. So once you can learn to let go of control in this way and start living in that anchored state in the end and already feeling and knowing that you have what you want, then life may start to surprise you in different ways. You might get rejected from something, maybe a job that you wanted, only to get redirected to a different job offer that's much better and pays way more. Or maybe you stumble into an opportunity that before you didn't even know existed. So these are not accidents. They're really responses to this internal shift that you're making. They're the unexpected outcomes that happen when you finally stop trying to make it happen, right? So once you can stop trying to control it and just let it unfold, you'll likely be very pleasantly surprised. So again, all you need to do is focus on living in the end. That's the beauty of this. You don't have to figure out the best way to get there. You can think about it if you want, but what's the point? You just have to trust the universe, and you just need to live in that state of already having what you desire and let the universe take care of the rest. It's going to show you the situations and issues that you need to work through to get to that point. So expect the best. And when life throws you the curveballs, just deal with it. And when you look back in hindsight, you'll see how these things happened for your benefit, as difficult as they were at the time. And if you've had like one of these unexpected things show up in your life, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. And again, if you haven't already, Be sure to sign up for my newsletter below. The link is in the description and pinned comment to grab your copy of one of my popular free guided meditations. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.